The following podcast contained mature language and adult discussion.
Oh, hey guys, Kliq This. Here we are. Welcome back. Another week has passed. Sorry, I didn't want to get up. So, I'm Sean. Kevin is here. There he is. And you are here, listener, viewer. You listen to your podcast, or do you try and watch them, Kevin? On, not us. I mean, like the ones that you enjoy. The ones you enjoy.
I usually watch Rogan on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Is it his foldy pug-like face that you enjoy seeing, or is it is there just are we just conditioned to watching shows?
No, I think that a lot of times I'm not familiar with the people that he has on. You know, so I want to get. It's more to get their vibe than it is to get. You know.
What do you think the popularity of that show is related to?
I think you know, he's a good comic. He does he's been the voice of MMA for my whole life.
Yeah, I know, but it's just disproportionately popular to other podcasts in the space. It's not a niche, you know. He has everybody on.
He also has. I mean, he I don't know. He does a lot of shit that I'm interested in. He talks about, you know, longevity. He talks about feeling. I mean, it's just, yeah. You know, he's a fantastic interview. He's just
okay. So it's the question. So it is the interview that you were a fan of.
But everything.
Fan of Rogan himself.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I actually thought the guy was something special when he was eating worms, making people eat worms, I should say, on Fear Factor.
Oh, Fear Factor. Yeah, I always forget that he did that.
I don't.
Well, it was a week filled with your feedback out there. So, Jay Ortega, why didn't Tony Khan just hire Lisa Wolfe? All this backstage fighting could have been resolved if she got all their wives together and had a picnic with Detroit Square Pizza. If anyone doesn't remember the Lisa Wolfe reference, that is a former WWE employee that was hired from the NFL, NBA, NFL, where she organized outings with the players' wives, the quarterbacks' wives. So, yeah, maybe Tony Khan should think about that.
Yeah, she was so effective with us.
Windy City, Chi-Town challenges and reviews. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's what you need is one more fucking lump of shit on your roster.
Oh, boy.
Somebody not pulling their weight.
Some house cleaning to be done? Is that what you're suggesting, perhaps?
Hey, man. Hey, my money.
Windy City Chi-Town challenges and reviews. This whole episode was fucked. LMAO. I mean that in a great way. I checked out the merch and just crack up that there's an 11 soft selection of stuff. Definitely going to purchase my Kliq This merch, as should you. Available in super soft luxury cotton. Coach Kevin, I could care less about your political views. Any guy who pisses in a bottle while working his podcast gets my vote for any political office. LMFAO.
Well, I mean, I didn't see a break. I looked up. I'm like, man, I've been holding my piss. I mean, like, there's a certain point when you go from being a Spartan to getting a fucking urinary tract infection. I was just
Right.
like, man, I gotta dump some urine. And then and somebody said something like, "Wow, man, by the color of your urine, you look like you're highly dehydrated." I'm like, if you're dehydrated, you can't. You're
It's
holding
clear.
yeah, but and now holding your
And you're
piss
not
isn't
pissing
isn't
either.
yeah holding yeah. I'm so dehydrated I can't hold my piss. That's
But maybe for someone out on the campaign trail, on the stump, maybe just behind the podium, and then just put the fucking bottle up there. I'd love to see Biden try that shit. Just hold on a minute, and then just
Biden had a spike today. He shot up to 43% favorability. So
with the Putin thing, you think?
no, it's it's his favorability goes with the gas prices. So I think I'm paying $3.98 for premium on letter right now on the inlet. So his popularity will fucking plummet once that
Goes
gets
above
about
4.
yeah 410.
Donna Bishop, I absolutely love the relationship you have with your son, sending positive vibes as you recover from the current unpleasantness caused by the hurricane.
Thank
So,
you. We
you guys
appreciate
are
it.
a standout father-son tag team. You know, it brings me to, since you mentioned Tristan. Tristan's a musician, and I wanted to ask you about this gig coming up. Now, Palm Coast, that's my hood. That's my Florida hood anyway. It's called Flowway Fest, and it's going to be the 22nd, is it, Tristan? Bring up Tristan, are you on camera?
Yeah, that's gonna be on the 22nd. Full day festival, food trucks, different types of music, everything else. I'm gonna be doing an acoustic set with some originals, some covers, and some basic just banter.
Is it
Just having a good time.
like this show? You've been trained well.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it like folksy acoustic, or is it like got like a rock edge? What's the?
I think we got 3 stages set up. So there will be one that's more like folk acoustic, and they're gonna have some like R&B, hip hop on one stage, and then like full
So it's like
rock band
a true
on another.
festival vibe, like
Yeah,
a
for sure.
Lollapalooza or something like that. Yeah.
Basically, a mini one.
What's the location in Palm Coast? So our fans.
It's at the city center.
Okay. There you go. I'm gonna miss you by a week. I'm gonna be down there first week in November, so you're gonna have to do private show on the beach. What's left of it?
There's nothing left.
Unfucking believable. Did you know that there is in fact a USA Mullet Championship? I know you're shocked. I'm gonna tell you right now, though. This is the search for. Christ, I can't get this up on my screen here. It is the search for the best mullet. Okay, this Steve, does that link work to the story for you? I'm not getting it here. It's making me subscribe, but from a lot of 30, it was narrowed down to 14, and then there's a national champ. So this is like the regional. And then there's a national. I think the nationals are in Florida.
I don't think anybody could have beaten Shawn Michaels in his prime.
See, but he looked good somehow with that. Is it just because
He's a good-looking guy? But
it's
I mean,
the rest of them, right?
That was a Kentucky waterfall like nobody's business. I mean, if you show up in anything but a fucking eye rock, you're fucking up.
Right.
You know, that's eye rock hair right there, baby.
Yeah, you're right. So like anyone with that hair, if they had like the typical pockmarked toothless vibe going on in the front, that would have been the statement. But because Sean was a good-looking guy and he was fit and he looked good in the ring, he made the mullet work. You know,
Yeah.
not so much on some
no,
of the
I-
other in-ring talent.
It was funny when we went to Vegas, and this is back when we used to do the video convention, and we went over to
Nappy? Was it Nappy?
no the just videos. We
Oh,
we
okay.
were there for Coliseum Home Video, which sold the WWE tapes at the time, and there was Adult World, and we were talking to a couple of the girls from Vivid.
That you were.
And they were like, "Why do all you wrestlers have hockey haircuts?" And we're like, "What?" And immediately, man, everybody started growing the shit out.
Once it was referred to as the hockey player
Yeah, I was
haircut?
like, "Well," we're like, "Oh, okay, that's not cool." So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I should tell everyone, because don't think I didn't look for you at one of the stages in your in-ring career with the mullet to show during this segment. You never did the mullet. You always had
I know
the
it.
front grown out to the side,
No,
right?
when I first came in as the bodyguard Diesel, I'm ripping a mullet.
Are you really? See,
Yeah.
the pictures I saw, you always had a part with the hair down the side.
Yeah.
Thought you were to be spared.
Nobody
don't-
was spared.
Yes, myself included.
Yeah.
I gotta find a picture. I had the center part, like with the feathered front. and
the
long
Peter
hair.
Frampton look.
Yeah, it was the asshole on wheels fucking look when I had it.
Frampton comes alive look.
He had musical talent, though, unlike myself. That doesn't mean I didn't try to play, but I don't watch much television. But one of the shows I consistently watch is it was called it was called like Live on Patrol. It's called On Patrol Live now. Okay, it was taken off TV during the when everybody was bashing the police, and so it's back now, and it's live. It's 3 hours live on Friday and Saturday nights, and they follow like 8 police departments in real time. So they'll be like, okay, something's going on in Indiana, and they'll go to the camera guy in the car in Indiana, and they're going to a call, and sometimes it's exciting and a chase, and then sometimes it's the mundane police work. But usually on a Friday, Saturday night, as the hours get a little lower, at the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock point, it gets interesting. Now, one of the departments they follow is Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Nice.
So, here's a clip. I'm not sure if this was Volusia. We'll know in a second. But I'm gonna call
They do
Jimmy
everything
Config.
out here, so it's clear.
Gotta
The
listen
rest
to
of them. They took out with
He
two
asks her her
beds,
name.
the hills.
What's her name?
Big 60?
What is it?
Big 60s.
Big Sexy?
Yeah.
What's your real name?
Christy.
There she is,
Kristen.
Yeah.
big
I was
sexy.
coming from the park for the
F.
gas station and I saw them coming.
Does the moniker apply to her? Out of Nye County, Nevada?
No.
No. Her delivery. Play that again. Her delivery was great. Big sexy. She's
Hills.
very
What's her
stylized.
name?
Big 60?
What is it?
Big 60s.
Big Sexy?
Yeah.
What's your real name?
Christy.
Should have done your in-ring
Kristen.
Yeah. I was
announcement.
coming from the park for the gas station and I
I popped. It's fucking 11:30 at night. I'm sitting on the couch, bleary-eyed. My family's asleep. I'm like, whoa.
So you don't watch fucking any television, but you're gonna come up with that fucking piece of shit is something you actually watch.
Absolutely. I'll put that over. Well, all right. What have I watched? I don't find much time to watch television. So
What do
that
you
is a show
do?
that's on my DVR. What do? I steer the SS Nash all week. That's avoiding one fucking
Oh,
iceberg
fuck.
after the next. There's books being written. There's there's a lot going on. But you should watch the show, Volusia County. You
I'm
can
not
see
gonna.
neighbors.
I could give to. I don't get. I don't care.
Did you see that bullshit call, by the way, roughing the passer on Tom Brady? Now, I know some guys you can't breathe on anymore.
I said last year when they had that playoff game and he got bloodied, and they didn't call it. I said, man, they're gonna after the season's over, they're gonna all go to some room and go, the Brady gentleman, if he comes back, nobody touches him, okay?
Well, it must have happened because this fucking... All right, here it is. This gets a flag. That got a flag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the slinging,
He rolled. He was on his way down. He's 300 pounds. Here, let's catch it here.
I mean, if that was in a prison cell, you might get sodomy charge. I don't know. Looks to me like he's
I don't know.
it cost them the game. I mean,
You
it's
gotta, when you have him in the grasp, if there's no whistle, you gotta go down with him, lest you risk him throwing the ball and winning the game.
They were talking about that. Like in the next game, they were talking. I think it was Buck was talking to Aikman, and Buck said, like, I'm 6'1", and Aikman was standing next to him, and Aikman looked like he looked like LeBron next to him, and he said, like, these quarterbacks, man, they're like, like Brady. I remember one time it was a halftime. They were showing the Patriots run off the field and like into the locker room, and Brady came with the rest of the crew. I'm just like, whoa, like he's way bigger than you think he is. So,
Oh, well, yeah. I think all your quarterbacks were tall, right? Because you got to see over the line. You got to be able to throw.
I mean, Russell Wilson. There's some guys that aren't, but I mean, I think that 6'3" is a good. I mean, that's probably the. We'd have to find out what the stats are, but I mean, Drew Brees was small.
Doug Flutie, of course, was famously small and didn't work out for him. But.
Oh, nor his wife.
Who was his wife? Am I supposed to know this?
No, I just he
said
famously small.
Very
Yeah.
good. Step behind. Did Aikman really say you got to take the dress off the quarterbacks?
I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him say that. I don't see.
Interesting way to put it.
Yeah, but maybe he knows something we don't.
on Monday Night Football, apparently. Okay. But I mean, look, CTE's a thing today, and we touched on it a little bit, and we have to be mindful of all this stuff with athletics, right? It's not cool to have a professional athlete play for, what's the average? I saw the average career in the NFL is like 4 years or something like that overall. So you can't have somebody play professional sports for 5 years and then end up a vegetable or, cutting someone's throat in the home. However.
Yeah, but that's it. Then if that's the case, fucking, it's like nobody watches NASCAR anymore because basically it's watching slot cars. The cars go, every car goes 100. I was watching, they had a rain delay one day, and I was flipping channels, and they had an old Talladega race, and it was probably, I don't know, 88 or something like that. I mean, these look like off the showroom cutlasses with some stickers on it. And they were going like 240 miles an hour. And I was just like, wow. Like
how would you watch that for as you criticize my watching the cop show?
Well, I didn't see a fucking pair of tits that looked anywhere near as nasty as Big Sexy's. I mean, Jesus, I couldn't. What were those?
You pulled off drag pretty good. You even were slouching down, so you looked a little shorter than the cops, too. All right, UFC 280 is here, Kevin, and you can get closer to the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook. I love DraftKings. It's on my phone. I use it. I wager. I win. I'm loving me some DraftKings, and that was very, very, very Alabama of me. But listen, they are the official sports betting partner of the UFC. So right now, new customers can bet $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook, today is the day. This offer's out of this world. Plus, you can also double your winnings on a same-game parlay. I do this with football. Within the same game, I might take whether the quarterback will throw X amount of yards, 250 yards, 280 yards, then maybe which team will win, and then maybe the running back might be the first to score a touchdown. You put those three together, and it multiplies your winnings. You can do this with UFC 280 this weekend. Combine multiple bets, like which fighter's going to win, how long the fight will last, and there's more options also. Everyone who wants to boost their winnings, place a UFC 280 same-game parlay today. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TKNP, the Kevin Nash Podcast, TKNP. Throw down $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins. That's code TKNP this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook. And we thank DraftKings for coming aboard with Kliq This. Daytona's like the hub for that bike week, isn't it? It's
one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Sturgis and Daytona. And now, see, we have Bike Week, which is in March, April. That's like the bike week. And then they started up with Biketoberfest is the second one, which is actually the better of the two as far as weather-wise. But now you've got down at Atlantic, which is 2 lanes, the beach road, you've got the right-hand lane basically blocked with the Service Pro trucks, all the
the disaster relief.
So now you've taken all these people and you've jacked them into basically one lane of traffic on that side where all the condos are, and they come over the bridge and they're funneled. It's going to be such a cluster this weekend. There's going to be, I predict 30 deaths.
Are there deaths every year?
Oh, yeah.
Accidents?
Yeah.
Traffic accidents?
Number one, you go down Main Street. I remember one time me and my son went down Main Street when he was young. We went down in the daytime. And I just went over and I looked at the odometers on these motorcycles. And there's like 70, 80, 90, $100,000 motorcycles. And their odometers are like 2,200. These aren't bikers. These are rich lawyers that go out and yeah. So they have no clue. And they're not
executive vice presidents of WCW on the motorcycle.
No, Eric could drive.
Was Eric a real bike? I was meant to ask.
Yes,
that wasn't just a put on to do the
Eric
pay-per-view?
No, Eric rides horses. Eric's the real deal.
That's a shame. I like to think of him as give me something to break his chops about. You ride a motorcycle. How did you feel about it? Were you at the? Were you there for that pay-per-view?
I think we did 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, so you were there for them.
Yeah.
Right. Did you have to ride?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Hog
Scott, Wild was it called?
Me and Scott showed up the first year in a Taurus. I remember we were driving from Casper, Wyoming or something like that, and the sun was blaring in our eyes. I didn't have sunglasses on, but Kid and Scott both did. Mm-hmm. And there were some little prairie dogs in the middle of the road. And I'm going 80, and I never stopped. And I just mowed these prairie dogs over, and I didn't see them. And it wasn't like they made like when you hit a coyote or something like that and hear it underneath your vehicle banging around. Mm. And they just looked at me like I was some sociopath. And they're like, dude. I'm like, what? You didn't see them? I said, see what? And they thought I was ripping. And I was like, no, dude, I didn't see anything. They're like, you're driving, you can't see? I'm like, well, I see the road. I'm sure if the prairie dog was, behind an 18-wheeler, I wouldn't have hit it. But
There's a huge Harley dealership in Daytona, right? Bruce Rossmeyer, it was called.
Up on
on one, right?
No, it's
the
on
95 exit
95
onto
yeah.
one that merged there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember I was driving down to Florida, like 10 years ago, like 15 years ago maybe, and there were all these billboards, and he used to be on them, and he was a big furry guy, kind of like the bikers we've been talking about, a little overweight but you know, like looked like a biker. I cast him.
He got killed in Sturgis.
And unbelievably, I'm looking at him, I'm like, you got to look like a badass like that to fucking ride one of those things. Every time I drive by, I'd see all those and then I get into my hotel. It was in the summer. I turn on the news or whatever. He was killed on the road.
And what it was it was an old couple in a van pulling a trailer, and they had a blind spot, and they passed Bruce and his crew, and then they thought that they cleared them, and they just pulled over, and it took them all out. Took Mr. Rossmeyer out. He was a good dude.
Oh, so you know him?
Yeah, anybody that lived here knew him.
Okay. Yeah, I got the
I
date
knew
on
his,
it.
I knew his daughters, and yeah, it's just
July 31st, 2009. Yeah. So it was at that point I decided I would not be getting a Harley. That's all it took.
I could barely drive a fucking car. I'm not getting on something with two wheels. Remember, everybody started driving those. Like, the last time I rode a bike, I had an English Racer. You know, I had like the skinny tired, Junet, 20 speed. And now everything's got those knobby tires, because they're like off road and everything else.
Yeah.
It's just like you ride those on cement. It's like, it ain't like riding a bike. Like, oh, it's just like getting on riding. Like, no, man. Like, we didn't have this. Like, we went from the Schwinn's to, with the small tire in front and the slick in the back, the orange crates and pea picker and cotton picker. And you remember those with the high dollar, with the stick shift on them?
I grew up in a city with concrete.
So that's just where you drove. What are you doing?
Bottle caps and football and manhunt.
So that's exactly where you would ride a Stingray.
Yeah, okay. We didn't. Wasn't exposed to it.
It wasn't like those weren't farm. Those with a
farmland
with a sissy bar and a small little drum brake in front. That motherfucker was like a low rider,
When I was young, I do remember a couple of standout terms. Mongoose, was that a very cool bike at one time? Because I think some of the cool kids might have had mongooses, or were stealing them anyway. They were talking about mongooses.
I'm so old. The only mongoose I know is I think Tom McEwen. He was a drag racer.
Okay. I thought you were going to say drag queen for a minute, but
drag racer.
Mongoose. Listen, you're flexing an NWO shirt again. I see there.
My first. I think my first time. Maybe I wore a red one once, but this is the first time. Okay. I thought, in honor of the DX reunion, that I would sport my colors.
You know who else is flexing some new threads? Kim Jong Un.
Banana Republic.
How about that? Look at this action. He was always in the traditional military garb, very serious all the time. This is him visiting a fish pickling factory. I don't know if that in any way prompted the outfit. Is that what one wears to a fish pickling factory? I don't know. That's what I'd wear to Tristan's music festival this week. That would be my action. If it's an outdoor festival, I would be there. But Kim Jong Un, of all people, Hillbilly Un, right there, Hillbilly Jong.
I don't know. He's got nukes, so I guess he can do what the fuck he wants, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting image change for a guy who was so, they used to do those military parades. And
but who's going to say something to him?
Well,
didn't he have his sister killed?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like,
at the airport or something.
Yeah,
right?
hey, dude, that ain't working for you. Kill him. There's a lot going on right now, man.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unstable place to be right now, the planet
Yeah.
Earth.
I don't think I want to be. I don't want to be in Tehran anytime soon. And we've got there's one journalist that's actually in Tehran. Like one.
Yeah, I saw
One,
today where
one Western correspondent.
we don't need that. We don't need that story. It's all good. Be safe. I did
Well, I
see
mean,
they
it's pretty. It's. I mean, they're killing people. They're killing 15-year-old girls over there, man.
They're throwing all the protesting youth in insane asylums now. I saw today.
Yeah, the ones that they're not killing.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Pretty fucked out there in the world.
Yeah, I think.
But you know who I'm glad I'm not? Alex Jones.
Oh,
did you see that? $1 billion was the award.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if the jury was on Austin Powers.
One.
It's like the guy's net worth is probably a $125 to 200, and you hit him with a bill.
You know what though?
So you do that, and everybody does the math. Well, there's 10 of us, so we're each going to get doesn't work like that. Like his problem was, you no longer can profitize on misinformation. That's now been deemed. But it's not misinformation coming from you if you never admit to the fact that you knew that it was misinformation, which he did in court.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yeah, I knew this happened." You're fucked,
right.
Right. So now, Fox News, who roasted Dominion, through their whole. Debunking that Biden won, just got it. The judge just said, no, we're not throwing it out. It's going forward. So Dominion's got the lawsuit against Fox News. It's just
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they can show damages, obviously, because of the reputation
Absolutely.
of the company, which is listen. If you're a voting integrity system, the integrity. That's all you have is that.
Well, if I'm getting
as your calling card.
If I'm getting a payday, I don't want Alex Jones's. I'll take Murdoch's. I'll take Murdoch's checkbook over Jones's.
Jones, I would have done $500 million, and the rest of his life hard labor for the families of anyone that lost a child. In the tragedy, just make him bitch scrub the floors and fucking wash the cars, one house every day of the week, 10 hours, supervised labor, like the chain gang on the side of the road, make sure it's scrubbed real good, missed a spot. There's not enough humiliation in just writing checks.
But is his heat just from that, or is his heat also circumvented from the January 6th? I mean, is it an accumulation of we can't get Trump, so we'll get anybody and everybody that associated themselves with Donald Trump? Because it looks like, I mean, you're talking about the Teflon Don.
There might be some shrapnel. But
I mean, there's tomorrow another big January 6th hearing. They've got evidence that points to Trump destabilizing democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, really?
We all watched it. So, yeah.
I mean, well, we're still on this. I mean, how long do you sit in a rear chin?
I'd go right to the chops.
Yeah,
I'd chop my way right out of the.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. I chop myself. I'd say, come on, you guys.
Couple of stiff ones. Let me tell you, speaking of which, it is time for the stiff one of the week, and it is brought to us by Bluechew. The nights are getting longer, but the breeze isn't the only thing getting stiff. That's right. This segment is sponsored by Bluechew, guys. We all know It's about confidence. It can take you far in life, but listen, it's true in the bedroom too, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate, and that's where Bluechew comes in. Bluechew is a unique online service, delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Take them anytime, day or night. Plan ahead, be ready whenever the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Go sign up at Bluechew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. Best part, besides choking, all online. Done online, consultations online, prescription done online. Your package arrives in the mail. You're not waiting online at the pharmacy talking to Marge about why you need to add some stiffage. Bluechew's tablets are made in the United States, prepared, shipped direct to your door in discreet packaging. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Bluechew can help give you that confidence where it counts. You don't need to have an issue to do this, by the way, to improve your surety and your strength. You just want to be ready to go at the drop of a dime. So this is a great way to do it. So listen, if you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. Have some better sex. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Bluechew free. It's free, guys. Just try it free. Let us know. Post about it. Brag. Photos if you want. Use promo code NASH at checkout. All right? Just pay $5 for shipping so we can get this to you, okay? That's Bluechew.com. Promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit Bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Bluechew for sponsoring our segment, the stiff one of the week. This one does not involve
Hold on. Before we go any further, two things. One, there was a guy that made a comment somewhere. He said that he was 38 years old and didn't need Bluechew, but he has used the product, and he said he now yields a mag light.
You see that?
I'm saying 2 or 3 or 4 battery.
Right.
Big difference.
That's right.
Anyway, second thing, do not give anybody the schnavitz on sending pictures of their.
You don't want that action?
No. So if anybody wants to send a picture of their hose, you can send it to Sean. He's on Twitter.
We'll do a segment. We'll do a segment like the feet.
Yeah, skin it back with Sean. And Anteater of the Week.
But your bodies are still being put at risk, so there has to be an insurance element.
You're a stunt man.
Okay, so kind of like a stuntman in SAG.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then you'd be participating in all the television royalties, streaming, reruns. You would have got all the DVD action. I guess that's over now, but videotapes, DVDs. That's where it would have benefited everybody. Top of the card, bottom of the card, middle of the card. Is if you were on television.
The number one place it would have benefited everybody with health insurance.
Yeah,
for themselves and their family. That was the biggest thing. Also, you pay a percentage of your earnings every year to SAG, and that goes towards a pension plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guys that had done 30 years, 20 years would have that money vested,
mm-hmm.
and they would have a pension when they turned 60. I think it's 61.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, those two things would happen, but at the same time,
But you couldn't do it.
No.
If they were still 1099 contractors, right?
No,
they'd have to be employees to participate.
Well, I mean, I'm a 1099 when I go and do a film.
No, you get a W-2. You have taxes.
I know, but I'm just saying my company.
Oh, you're a loan out. You're a loan out to your production company. Or that's different, though. But
Right.
as an individual, you're still getting a W-2. They're withholding taxes. You're a short-term employee. Believe me, I tried to get the Disney discount down there. Tell them, yeah, of course I'm an employee. I've done like 4 films for you. They're like, yeah, not the same. A Florida man or Jersey guy. Here we go. Your record is rather impeccable here. I think you have 2 losses over 14 weeks. So let's see how.
Yeah, but the one loss was actually
it was a technical. Yes, there was
Yeah.
a technicality there. So we're going to give you, we'll give you credit for that one. All right, here's the headline. For anyone who doesn't know, one true headline involves a Florida offender, and one is from a Jersey guy. And Kev's going to tell us which is which. Going to try. All right, the first one: metal musician turns uncle's skeleton into a Skelecaster guitar. The visual on this is unbelievable. You'll see it after we reveal. Metal musician turns uncle's skeleton into a Skelecaster guitar. And, second headline, a burglar accidentally butt-dialed 911 while discussing the details of the crime with his accomplice.
I don't think anybody in Florida has the technical ability to take a corpse and make it into a guitar. So I'm going to go Jersey with the corpse, the uncle corpse, Fender, and Florida man on the butt dial.
Okay, well,
How
we got you this week.
Oh, really?
We got you this week. We did. Here's the visual on the guitar. Fucking unbelievable. There's the spine and the rib cage. T, what do you think about that bad boy? You gonna whip that out at the festival next week? Holy fuck! It's brutal, but it's a neck. I mean, it's probably a Fender neck. Where are the pickups? Pickups are like the kidneys?
No, it looks like the pickups down there in the L2 region.
the L2 pickups.
Yeah, that's.
There you go. You thought you were badass out there, our musicians in the world. Play a family member. And then the burglar. This was in, what city was this? Somerset, New Jersey. The criminal, though, was from Elizabeth, right out there by the airport. I think Lookers might actually be located in Elizabeth proper there. Careless burglar, who authorities allege inadvertently dialed 911 and let the police in on his burglary plans before committing the crimes, has been indicted. That's Scott Robert Esser.
You can't butt dial 911 unless it's programmed in your phone.
But you've got this, though. If you can't unlock the phone, I don't know how to do it. I've seen it sometimes. You have this right here. You've got the. Of course, Kevin doesn't have an iPhone. He's holding out. He's being counterculture, as he always is. But you've got that emergency there. So if you can't manage to type, you're in a car accident, you're being hit in the head by Scott Robert Esser as he breaks into your house. You're having your uncle's guitar shoved up your ass. You just have to hit emergency there, and it'll do a 911 call.
Let's look at the of the 8 billion people on this planet. Let's see how many iPhones there are and how many Androids there are.
You're saying that it's close.
No.
You're saying that you're in the majority.
Yeah.
I think you used to be. I mean, that was one of the appeals of Apple, was like, okay,
no,
we're part of an elite.
I'll Google the son of a bitch right now.
And if you find that, I'd be interesting to know. We got a lot of these on the team here. Dom, you're rocking an Android?
Here we go. Apple claims 23% of the global. 23% of global share. I don't think that's going to win, Herschel.
Well, Herschel. Well, what's got? But what's got the rest of the market though? Where's Android? I refuse to believe it's 67%. Oh, Steve, iPhones have a 65% share of smart
in the United States.
In the United States. Okay.
350 million people.
Where I believe you currently reside.
So
the prosecution rests.
There's no prosecution. I gotta jump on.
All right. The emergency button is on the phone.
What has came out of Apple since Jobs died?
You know what? You have a point there, and I'll certainly
a phone that fucking every year they make a new one, and you've got to get a complete charging system to go with it, because they change. It's like that's how they nickel and dime you because they have no technology.
You are so
Yeah.
right that Jobs kind of took what was special
Yeah.
about Apple to the damn grave, man.
So you guys can
Holy cow.
can fucking suck Apple's cock as much as you want, but I ain't doing it. Ain't slipping past my fucking lips, man.
You did mention DX turning 25 before.
Yep.
And this was on last night's Raw. Well, not this week's Raw. You guys will be watching it a week after. But it did appear on Raw. And when you get asked to do these things, before we cover the event, I just want to ask how this works, like for Sean and everybody who was on there. You get brought out, you know right away it's going to be it's a one-shot deal or whatever they want, 2 shots or whatever it's going to be. It's a one-shot deal. Are you guys still given? Because you guys worked at a time where you could come up with your own shit. Like when you guys got together and Sean would go off and stuff, and you got to come up with your own shit. Now, when you guys come out now, are you given stuff to say? Do they tell you to write it and just like let us see it? How does it work?
Oh, it's just run. It's run by them.
So for you guys, it's the same as the rest of the guys on the roster that night? Everyone's playing by the same rules?
Those guys showed up at probably 2:00 in the afternoon and says, you know what we really need is 4 rubber chickens we can refer to as cocks. Okay, let's go out and get them.
But you're not coming up with your own dialogue, I'm saying.
No, they're not coming up with anything.
You just come out. But you guys had great.
You're walking out there with an Apple phone in your pocket, and you're just one of the minions.
Right. One of the 65%. But you get no kind of props for being good at improv and working at a time where you guys came up with your own shit. No, huh?
No, vaudeville's dead.
Yeah. Right. Unbelievable. So that first segment, you referenced the rubber chickens. I liked that. Okay, so I go on. I go, okay, they're gonna do okay here.
Oh, I thought they were gonna do several spots throughout the show.
Right, but the way they were treating Triple H too, I thought was great. He had definitely was doing the call out to McMahon there. He had the glasses down on his nose.
Yeah, no, I thought they would beat him down to submission.
Right, through the whole show, and then finally.
But then when he cursed right before they broke out of that first segment, I thought, nah, it's like he's he ain't got time to mess with this shit. He doesn't. I mean, it was like a shoot. Like, I ain't got time to mess with this shit.
Because he had to run the show.
Yeah, it was just like it was good. It was you know, nobody's gonna do anything. There's gonna be no physicality. Everybody's beat to shit. You know,
not that. I
know. I know. So it's just like absolutely less is more in that situation.
Right. But now, do they shoot the segments throughout the day? Those aren't live, right? Those are shot like throughout the day, and they just air them in not the in-ring stuff, obviously, but the backstage stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that just depends. I mean, with Paul, I know that was probably shot at 3:00. With Vince, that would have been shot live because it would have been changed 63 times before they got to it.
Vince,
excuse me.
Vince Vince was always in Gorilla on the headset, right, talking to the announcers. Is Paul doing that now?
I would think that Paul would because Paul wants to make sure. I mean, commentating, is one of the things that allows you to create and then push your vision. So Paul may know where the story's going, and not necessarily the commentators. Or Paul may see something that transpires in that segment that needs to be addressed because he's going to go somewhere with it. So but he's not going to sit there and tell them, play by play what they need to say like Vince was doing, which was making people insane.
So he would talk like through the whole match.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I have not.
Yeah, we gotta
I didn't put a headset on and do any color commentating, and I also don't have an Apple phone
right. So
because I know that I have a feeling like they're both a bad buzz.
so
But I'm on an Apple right now. This computer's an Apple.
good. That's good. The resolution's beautiful. It brings out the artwork. It brings out the artwork and the blue in your eyes. So
Green.
I have
Green's rare. I
have
green eyes.
I'm hazel. I'm green as well. So I'm having Vince in my ear saying what to say through the now both Vince talking to both people on the mic.
Yeah, everybody. He's screaming at everybody.
And screaming, huh? Screaming, Vince. What could be fucking worse as you're sitting there? You have a match right in front of your face that you're trying to call. And listen, if you've been put on commentary, you've proven your worth to the team at some point.
Yeah.
That you can call a match. And then you got that maniac screaming in your ear. I don't know how anybody. I got to talk to Lawler. Can we get Lawler on here?
I mean, Mick Foley is went over this 1,000 times.
Maybe when he's doing a live podcast, we'll go on stage and ask him about that. How about that? Maybe he can let us know what that's like. So even Mick would get
Oh, yeah, to the point where
a star.
To the point where Mick was visibly upset about it.
Wow.
I mean, to the point where he didn't let it sit. He was just like, "No, man." Like, he said, "The People Event Society." He says, "I can't. This ain't working for me."
Wow. Getting word here that that's one of the reasons that Foley quit. Stormed backstage, got in Vince's face and said, "Never again." Stuck a sock in his mouth. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get with Mick about that. It's just an interesting dynamic to be told what to say the whole time, and then the fever pitch nature of the out of control McMahon. So, but knowing Paul, even though you're not on a headset right now, but knowing Paul, I'm being told Foley brings this up on every podcast. Clearly, I listen. Knowing Paul, he's not a screamer, right? I
No.
don't imagine him being as.
No, he's not. No, that's just so not Paul. I mean, if you fucked up to the degree where he was going to yell at you, I'm quite sure he would make a mental note, or actually make a note to himself, and then bring it up after the show was over to that person one-on-one, to not browbeat them in front of his cohorts, because that's just, I mean, one of the things that I've talked to several people, I have correspondence. I still do. My mustache all fucked up tonight.
Manscape it.
Actually, I put the ball deodorant on my mustache.
Got it backwards, bro.
I got fucked up. But
put the Aqua Velva on your sack and put the ball deodorant on your lip. It'll be a rough day. Go ahead. You get called back.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people, on the telephone, and I always ask them, like, how are things different? And it's like they can't wait. They're like, oh my God.
That they're excited.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, things are so different. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's more of a, not even more of, there's an actual team kind of feel to it. I think that's what's missing from AEW right now. I don't think that there's not a team there.
Right. Well, listen, we know he's got the money. He's told us that many times. He could bring in and build whatever team he wants. He's electing not to do this. So Tony Khan, I'm referencing, obviously.
Excuse me.
So all right. So getting to the broadcast, getting to the Raw broadcast. Were they used well? You think, Sean and Road Dogg and Sean? Do you think they?
Where were they going to go with it? It was a reunion. I mean, it's, if they had been the Carpenters, they would have sang a song, and that'd have been it. Maybe two.
I don't know. I just thought it was promising in the beginning that they could have done that bit a little bit, like trying to get Paul to crack and come back to the team. Come out with us. Come with the boys. And just seeing the evolution of how they got him to do that. Use some creative little like.
I think that
callbacks from the past to try and entice him, and
Paul should be in the Hall of Fame on his own. Triple H should be in the Hall of Fame. He never will be, because he'll never put himself in there. And so the DX situation for him was okay. They had to get China in. They had to get, Paul needed to be in. And so
they did mention China.
Yeah. No, and it was, that was a guy I really like. When DX started, it was like they took what the NWO was, and of course, the production value alone, just on the break it down, it's just everything was just so much. Almost had a rage against the machine.
Yeah, I mean, they were a calling card for the Attitude Era. It sounded like cool, hip, young.
They sound like Rage. Yeah,
questionable
absolutely.
Language with the suck it and the crotch chops, and they were pushing the envelope. Yeah, no doubt at the time.
As we were being restricted and constricted to what we could do by standards and practices on a daily basis.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a thing the other day on the internet, and it was this guy. I'm not going to put him over, but I hope he realizes someday that I blocked him from everything that he has access to of mine. But he asks Eric the question of what was the demise of WCW, and his first thing was it the Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan finger poke of doom? Or was it he named something else? Or was it giving away the finish, the Mick Foley finish, the same night? Like, basically, something that happened that night made us sell, to Vince. And I just think to myself, like, dude, like, Eric has a podcast. Eric has went over this 1,000 times. How do people, like, when you ask somebody, when you interview somebody, do you go back and make a list of every question that every other interviewer does, and then you repeat those? So Eric has to say, in '98, I was brought over to the other tower into a room of production people and high ups. I had no idea who they were. And they started to tell me how I was going to run WCW. And this is a company that I took from losing $10 million to making $300 million a year before.
There's no one thing.
No, a finger poke of doom.
And this has been covered enough by everybody that was in power over there.
But it's, I promise you, if you had to pick one thing, it would be the .com crash. Because AOL.com owned it, and it went shit belly up. The stock went nowhere. It went from like $50 to $11 in like
you bring
3
up
days.
an interesting thing about standards and practices, because as you guys are trying to, I'm saying you guys meaning WCW, NWO, as you guys are trying to compete with what's going on USA Network, you're unable to match the edginess that is over with the younger fans because Standards and Practices has to look at everything first. Right.
We had them in our booking meeting. We had a Standards and Practice person in our booking meeting. So it wasn't like you couldn't even churn
What
the
things
idea.
would they object to? Was it only language, or was it like?
Oh no, you could. I always was able to get by with innuendos. You know, like you had to be really clever and just say, no, that's not what I meant. You know, but I remember I was sitting in the back of a limousine when we were leaving TV. It was just me and Eric, and he said, "Kev," he goes, "Man, it's like it's impossible." He says, "We can't like to get somebody over. We can't get anybody over. It's impossible with these restrictions." And I said, "Yeah, I guess so. If you got Val Venus with the towel wrapped around him and Jenna Jameson
Exactly.
taking a shower with him,
Yeah.
you know, on the other program," and he just like wasn't like Eric was, you know, Eric's smart as fuck, you know. Eric was just like I'm like, dude, you know. As Sullivan would say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man
We
is
got to
king.
get us some Kev on here.
Yeah. Brother, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So, but yeah, we had an armless pitcher out there. The catcher keeps asking for the fastball, and he's just going, merely a flesh wound.
So
merely a flesh
steering
wound.
back to the
So
DX's 25th. Was it obvious to everyone and just not me why Billy Gunn wasn't there? Just not me why Billy Gunn wasn't there.
besides the fact that he works for AEW,
Oh, what is he doing?
he's got the #1 selling T-shirt on wrestling. He's got
on
scissor me ass daddy T-shirt.
Oh, the Scissor Me Ass Daddy T-shirt, the Acclaimed, right?
He also is he's one of their wherever they've got some place where they train the guys, and he's like one of their trainers.
Okay, head trainer, got it.
He's head trainer. Okay, yeah, head trainer. Yeah,
The scissor reference, yeah, got it. So so DX of the factions, right? Because NWO, DX, it's going on at the same time. You're friends with all these guys. Scott was friends with all these guys on the other channel, the other federation. At the time, are you talking off television about what's going on respectively? Like, did you still have a relation?
No, because if we did, we would have walked out in Norfolk and said, "What's up?"
Oh, with the thing, right?
You know.
No, but you wouldn't commiserate. You wouldn't get on the phone and call Sean and be like, "Oh, it's just fucked."
No, we
over here."
we were running too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
me and Scott made every house show. It was like Scott and I worked. Kid too. The three of us worked.
Yeah.
I remember when we asked Booker T to join the NWO, he said, "Fuck no, man. You guys work too much."
That's great.
Booker probably knocked four or five strokes off his game that summer.
So Triple H reached out, apparently tried to get Billy Gunn to appear. Didn't happen.
No.
But so Eric at the time. So take me to NWO Eric, talking to you guys back. So he gets a limo, says, "Oh man, can't get anybody over here," whatever. Is he talking about puncturing holes in DX by pilfering more talent, or what's his game plan when he realizes that his hands are tied?
once they get Tyson and they pull off
Yeah.
that WrestleMania, there was such a momentum switch, there. It's just, you had at that time, nobody did anywhere near the numbers that Mike Tyson did.
Right.
So putting him back in a pay-per-view situation, and then having the Attitude Era and let's not forget there was a guy named Steve Austin.
Yeah.
That was kind of,
Heard of him?
yeah, a little bit. And just like, so he's doing what he's beating his boss's ass, what everybody wants to do on Earth. I mean,
when you go back for things like this, you've been back several times for Monday nights and pay-per-views. The talent that's there, the younger talent, not the guys that you knew or worked with, but like the younger talent, they were probably fans, right? When you were working as a younger man. So you're instantly over with the locker room when you come back, right?
I mean, everybody appears to be nice to you.
What kind of things are they asking you? Business stuff or in-ring stuff or not?
No. They pretty much take you and they put you in some room that says Hall of Famers that doesn't have a urinal, that the urinal's like 700 yards away.
Well, you brought a bottle, so you were okay.
No, at WrestleMania, it was brutal. They had one bathroom.
Where was that? What venue was it?
That Buccaneers Stadium.
Oh. Really? You that far from a fucking restaurant?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, we had one in our locker room, but it's not like it's not like anybody's gonna. Basically, you're holding your shit all day. Nobody's gonna lay a deuce in there. You've got Davey Boy's wife in there, in that locker room. It was, and of course, no booze.
Why no booze? Why, of course?
There hadn't been booze at a WrestleMania in so many years. Every time they say, you're going to go to WrestleMania, I'm like, I'll go back to my hotel room and watch it on a laptop and drink wine and listen to the commentating before I go sit underneath in the belly of some stadium and go 5 hours watching something without a drink.
Yeah. Well, listen, staying in shape, you guys, that's important, right? Everybody looked good, I have to say.
Yeah.
Last night, Sean and Road Dogg, everyone looked good. Looked like they looked camera ready. You don't want to see that either. Your childhood heroes come back, get teased, and then you're like, ugh, somebody help them. Somebody help them across the room. Yeah, no, but everyone looked good. Sound good?
It's not like they're 100.
No, but listen, we both know people of that age group.
That's like all early 50s crew. Sean
Well,
may be the oldest, maybe. Sean
I was
might
going to
be-
say, I know Waltman's around
No.
50 or 51, but
Yeah.
Michael's is not.
54, 50.
Maybe it's because of athletic greens. Just thinking about this right now. Listen, our next partner that I'm going to talk about, I use every day. I started taking AG1. I had some gut issues, some stomach health issues. Did not enjoy a trip to the emergency room at one point. But I've tried drinks before. AG1 by Athletic Greens is completely different. I'm going to tell you this is different. First of all, I'm going to start with, and the copy doesn't put me there, but I'm going to start with the taste. It's such a common turn-off with so many supplements that I take, is the taste that I preferred taking vitamin or pill form supplements for a very long time. I tried this AG1 and it tastes good. I promise you. You try it. It tastes good. It's got a mild, maybe a little tropically type. There's a little banana I taste in there. I don't know if it's everybody's different or if it's intentional, but that's what I get from it. So I do enjoy it. And I know when I take it, I'm absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to start my day right. It's the first thing I have before me tea. I have the athletic greens before me tea to get me rolling for the day, and it works. Sustainability routines are key. AG1 is a daily micro habit, and it makes it easy for me to get all those nutrients. I can get rid of those bottles. It's 1 scoop, 1 minute, once a day, every day. Now, I want you to try it. And to do that, we have seen to it. Kevin demands that you get something free for listening to this show.
Damn right.
And Athletic Greens will give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Kliq. athleticgreens.com/Kliq. And take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Thank you, Athletic Greens. I don't want to get off DX yet, though. I want to talk about timeline.
Let me ask you a question now.
Yeah.
So there is. I mean, with the vitamin intake, have you noticed a change of urine color?
No, my urine. I probably by midday I've eaten and I've drank my tea. So I've got other stuff going on in there. But I will tell you, God's honest truth, my mornings are easier. Physically, mentally, mood. Mood is big with me too. It doesn't say mood here. I'm not adding copy. But maybe because I get a little bit of an energy boost from the AG1, it puts me in a better mood. I don't know.
I mean, it just the fact that I mean, it's the nutrients. I mean, there's so many micro macros, brother. But I mean, there's a lot of things in there that you just don't get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like people think like, well, I eat a healthy diet. Well, you're still. I mean, I take the greens in the morning, then I take 2 different rounds of supplements throughout the day, not even including like branched chain amino acids and all my pre-workout, post-workout, like all those things. And I mean, you know, like I've noticed that since I've been taking the greens, like my urine is much. It's a stronger odor than it was, you know. So I mean, it's definitely doing its job.
Okay, well that's firsthand.
What are you drinking, by the way? What is that? Is that green tea?
That's a little regenerated body fluid I have here. I had to.
Was that dodgeball?
I started my show here in my Gold Peak, exactly. Trying to cleanse my system. Well, no, that's good to hear about the about you with the, because you've probably had so many more supplements than I. I mean, physically you wouldn't be able to tell looking at me, but I'm guessing you've run the gamut with supplements and stuff, and you do put Athletic Greens right up there.
Anything that I can take that's that has a flavor that's not. You know, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, that's huge to me.
Yeah, no, it's a no-brainer. And
I mean, it's healthy, but they should make a big deal about that too, because that matters, man. When
see, there are times when I'll just take a scoop and throw it in my mouth and gulp like 3 gulps of water on top of it.
No way.
Yeah.
You've taken supplements that way.
I'm taking the greens before.
That's
like
how
that.
you take you don't mix it in the little bottle gimmick they give you.
No, I just sometimes I just throw
a pussy like me does it like that. You're a real man.
Put 2 gulps of water in your mouth, hold it, dump it in there, swallow it, and then do 3 more gulps. And
outrageous.
Yeah,
you're a real man.
No, I've just been taking supplements my whole life.
Right.
When you're 6'9" in the 4th grade and weigh a buck 5.
You know, you're in that rare part of the world that can say that thing to pretty much to end any argument, because who the is going to argue? Listen, when you're 6'9" 10 and 295. Who's arguing? What were you in 6th grade? What did you say?
No, I was in 6th grade. I was 6'4". I could dunk a basketball.
Yeah, that's why you got the chicks, man. Tremendous. How would you want them to honor Scott? What would be the right way?
I would do anything that the spotlight was on Scott.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they wanted to do something at WrestleMania, and it was just, for me, it was just too soon.
Right.
And it would, depending on what they would want to do moving forward, it would just depend on whether, I don't want to break down on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I just had to go to my happy place to get through this conversation. You know, just because it's just, you know.
Because there will come a day where the NWO will be put back together for something to honor you guys and Scott. And what would be the right way to do that, I wonder? They might ask you. They might say, "What would make you guys comfortable?"
It's not time yet. I know that.
Right. Right.
I mean, like I said, though, that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually Scott had an fucking iPhone.
He's such an ass. He probably did. He was fucking cool. But
says the guy in the Twin Peaks shirt who's drinking my piss.
Cool. Define cool, then.
Huh?
Define cool, then. I mean, listen, I'm not exactly sitting here in a Stranger Things t-shirt.
I read enough shit about your irony last week about that whole.
What people? I wasn't wrong.
They were roasting you.
Well, I don't give a fuck. None of those things in the song were irony. What he's talking about, for anyone that didn't listen last week.
That's why we do a show together, because you don't give a fuck either.
Fucking the unwashed masses.
I just pulled the strings just a little bit right there. Fuck them.
The unwashed masses are gonna question my ability to know the English fucking language. Sean snapped. I'm going back. I'm cool. It's cool. Love you all. Love you all, baby. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Fucking shit.
Who the fuck? I want to know what could you even say? Getting married and it rains, the bitch sang in the song, right? Yeah, rain on your wedding day. Tell anyone out there, put it in the comments how that's irony. Oh, Christ. I think she's even come out and said that it was a misnomer to call it.
What people don't get. This is what people don't get. You know,
were we just having a touching discussion about Scott 2 minutes ago? I was screaming.
Yeah, but I'm glad it was time to get off. I could sit here and talk. I could talk about Scott for 44 hours.
I don't know if I got hotter about the ironic comments or the check I got in the mail the other day. Go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say? You going to say something ironic?
No, I was going to say this, that like, you know, so many people that like we roast and we say shit on this show. It's like, don't take it personal because you're just a part of a bit. Okay. Like you're just a part of we use you to be a part of a bit. And
it's all a work. I say it all the time.
Obviously there's some people, man, that, like I always like when I say something about somebody and their response is only on Facebook. Because if you read any of my social media, and I've only got 2 outlets, which is Twitter and Instagram,
right? It
says I don't have Facebook.
Oh, so they go there purposely.
Yeah, they go there purposely, like, so they hopefully I get some trick because what you just said is exactly what I say. Somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey," I say, "I don't give a fuck." That's exactly because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It's over with. It's done. It's,
It's a free ride when you've already paid. It's winning the lottery and dying the next day is what it is. But it ain't irony. Sucks. But it ain't irony.
and I can't get Sarah Silverman out of my head.
What I lost you. What'd you say, Sarah Silverman?
I said, yeah, I'm thinking Sarah Silverman right now. Somebody sent me a Twitter thing of Sarah Silverman's breasts. I'm like, it's easy, fucking Uncle Waldo, you freakazoid.
What did they say about them?
I don't even know. I just saw it and I thought it was photoshopped. And then I fucking, I just scanned through shit,
Oh, it was a picture.
It was a picture of but it was like 8 pictures on a tweet of Sarah Silverman's breasts.
They're impressive, right?
I just realized that it was real and just flipped I didn't make it bigger or get fucking.
You didn't zoom in.
No, I didn't. I didn't creepazoid out because as far as I'm concerned, if she wanted to DM me, follow me and DM me and send a picture of her breasts, that would be one thing. Somebody's fucking pervy uncle that's been up on charges 3 times.
Working the Photoshop gimmick.
Yeah, I'll pass on your fucking nonsense.
You'd show me though, right? If you got that DM ever.
No. I'm not a kiss and tell guy.
All right.
Except if it's the summer of '92.
All right. That's a bite the pillow and tell. But listen, speaking of these a minute ago, how did we get from Scott to this shit? I swear to God. We were talking about DX, the factions, talking about maybe getting the NWO together. What could you do for Scott to make it comfortable? And I'm talking about Sarah Silverman's fucking knobs. I wonder if they're as funny as she is. I'll have to look for that, guys. I'll have to look for Uncle Waldo's tweet.
Don't put him over.
But listen, grief is a good place to go if I'm going to mention to you and to everybody that it is time for a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. And this is a cause I can get behind. The internet age, the information age has kind of helped to make everything a little easier. And talking to somebody to improve your mental health is no different. Man, I've had so many discussions with people about how mental health is treated in this country. And maybe it's a global thing, but certainly here now. And I think it's changing. And it's thanks to companies like BetterHelp and the like that are availing services where they would be sometimes difficult. Listen, you hurt your arm and you drive to the hospital, you're going to be cared for. There's no stigma attached to it. You go in, the arm, everyone there knows how to handle it. Having episodes, internal, not the same. It's not the same. And it should be treated the same. There should be ample availability for folks that need that. We've all needed to talk to somebody at some time. If you're out there thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, it's accessible, affordable, it's entirely online. You're going to get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. You can switch therapists at any time. If you want to be a better problem solver, I mean, that's what it all comes down to, right? It's solving problems. We're solving our own problems. Sometimes it's a life problem that we need to change our perspective and try and solve. Sometimes it's just something we're dealing with, things that are foisted upon us, death of a friend, things we had no participation in, but maybe we need some guidance in dealing with. There are people that can help you find the answer. No one can find it for you. They help you find the answer. The answer is within. So if you want to become a better problem solver, I'm going to task you to visit betterhelp.com/Kliq. All right.
Is the fucking ride. You know? I mean, it's just the ride. It's just we were talking earlier about how people pass, and if you don't know them, how it's a shorter duration of sorrow and you move on.
Right.
But I haven't moved on past Kobe's death, and I didn't have a personal relationship with Kobe Bryant.
Why is that, do you think?
I think because I think he gave so much of his life, and dedicated so much of it to as a 17-year-old kid to come in the NBA and to be arguably the greatest player ever.
Mm-hmm.
I sat the other night and I watched that. There's a new thing on Netflix, and it's the I can't fucking remember what it's called, but it's the team that they put together after we lost the Olympics.
The Redeem Team.
Yes, the Redeem Team. So I watched that, and it was just like, there's this one thing where Kobe and Paul Gasol had won a couple of championships together at that time, and like Kobe said, like, I know what they're gonna run the first play, and I'm gonna run right through fucking Paul Gasol. I'm gonna run right through his fucking chest, and like LeBron, everybody like, yeah, right. They fucking threw the ball around. Gasol came to pick him, and Kobe just ran as hard as he could, just fucking speared him. Just ran right fucking over him, and it just
You get a charge.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it just set the whole tone.
Right.
And you're talking about, this is international ball. You get 5 fouls. You don't have a lot to fuck around with. He ended up getting in foul trouble in that game. And they ended up playing Spain twice, and Spain fucking was tough that year.
Mm-hmm.
And but just he did all that, and then he did everything. Like he weathered the storm with that situation that happened in, I believe, was Colorado, and the DNA comes back, and they've got the girl that accused him of raping her, and she's got like three other DNA samples in the crotch of her underwear. Three loads in her underwear. Like, oh, great.
Is that true? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So, I mean, so then it just, for him to have the relationship, you can see the relationship he has with his 2 young daughters, and that, and the Redeem Team, and his wife, and to know that they went down, together, and that, it's, I don't know. He won an Oscar. That's like his first thing that he basically put his hands on, in a production aspect, film-wise. The short film won an Oscar, and it was like he had so much, to give, and so much that he was going to do, because he had sacrificed so much for so many years, and it was his time to live. And just, I don't know. I know that, I mean, every morning I wake up, I take it as a blessing. And I think that for so long, because the Kliq was intact, that I thought that we were bulletproof. And I came so close in the same year of losing Paul and Scott. So
that's right. Yeah, when Hunter was sick.
Paul was, and I just look at that and I say to myself, and I think it was Dallas. Dallas and I were talking, and he says, the only thing you can't buy on this fucking planet is time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy time. So that's really, so when Kevin Nash, at this point of his life, determines that his time is more valuable than somebody in a Midwest state that's fucking around with shit. They just have to realize, man, that you can't afford my time, and you don't get to tell me what to fucking do, and I'll do what the fuck I want to do. And there's a saying that goes around Detroit, and it goes something like this: "Hey, motherfucker, you can only kill me once."
You wake up in the morning thankful. Who are you kidding that you wake up in the morning? You wake up in the afternoon and you're thankful.
No,
I'm just going to clarify.
No, because you're not there, so you don't know. I always am up by 9 o'clock to take my morning piss. Now,
You're thankful, you piss, and then you go back.
No, I'm thankful that I'm alive. I take my piss. A lot of times it is blood engorged. I look down, I say, take a look at that fucking, huh?
Bluechew, baby.
No, ain't no Bluechew. Motherfucker, that's Bob's genetics.
Big Bob.
That's Bob's hog.
Big Bob. Travis B. has written you. He's taken some of his time to write you, and he said, glad I started listening to this podcast. Really didn't have an open spot in the rotation. Now someone's getting bumped. Didn't know you were in the Army. How were you not put in the honor guard? Former 11B coming in at 5.5 soft. Always leave room for improvement. 11B, what are we talking about here?
11 Bravo. It's he was infantry.
Oh, all right.
I was 95 Bravo, military police.
I would not have been a good soldier. I'm not a good order taker. I'd be questioning.
It's a fucking game like everything else.
Right. Now the honor guard of which he speaks.
Yeah. Honor guard is usually it's a very synchronized, very you don't you would want 6 foot 195 pound, like you would want there to be a degree of uniform. You wouldn't want Jeffrey the Giraffe and fucking it's one of your,
because of the other guys that are suited up, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's like when they carry a casket, man. Those guys are almost the same size.
Josh Rakowski, love listening when lifting. I'm a soon-to-be father. Super nervous.
Get another one, motherfucker! You got 2 more. Come on.
Is that the drill sergeant?
No, that was just he's listening to it while we're lifting. I thought it'd be that guy.
Get another, get
another
pump
one
going.
Yeah, get another rep.
Well, Josh is a soon-to-be father. Super nervous, finding out what I'm having tonight. Any advice to a soon-to-be dad from Big Daddy Cool himself? Also love jackknife. Smoke it before every bowling night.
Nice.
So he's going to be pretty busy with the kid and the jackknife and the bowling.
Well, the sativa's definitely going to have him focused. That jackknife is it's a wonderful lover. From the
can you play 10 frames of a bowling game on the jackknife sativa? How would that go?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Last night I fucking was watching. A couple nights ago I was watching the Ross show, and I was saying earlier that I never watched the commercials, and I got caught watching the commercials, and I said, "Fuck that fucking 400 horsepower Infiniti looks like a nice car."
Did you pick one up?
No, I just realized I was stoned.
Oh,
you're stoned.
David Van. Oh, all right. So any parenting advice? You are a father. There's a soon-to-be father. Any words of wisdom?
I remember when my wife went in to get, they were going to tell her whether we're going to have a boy or a girl. And hold on a second, I got to take a sip.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, "No, I don't want to know." So she whispers in my ear, and I go, "Yes!" And my wife goes, "Oh, we're having a boy." because that's one of the things, man. It's just like, and I think I was a great dad until like my son turned 8, and then that's kind of where I lost my dad. So like up until 8, I was like, I knew what to do, and then after that, I was like, fuck, I don't have any,
Don't have a model for that one.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, So I don't know. I hope I didn't do my son too poorly, but
our second daughter was born IVF, so we there's the point where the doctor says we have a few possibilities that have fertilized properly. I'm not going to use the right terminology probably, but would you like to choose the sex? Now, we did DNA testing on all of them to make sure that they can do that now, right? They can
healthy, right?
Test the egg and get all the DNA already. So I said, and it sounds very Aryan and very Hitler, but I didn't mean it this way. She's like, would you like to choose by gender? I said, of the ones you have, are there any that are genetically superior? And she laughed at me. I was like, I didn't mean like that. I meant like, you see the DNA. How are they doing? And she said, there's one front runner. I said, well, that's the one you put in. And that was it. That was Lana, who you met a few weeks ago, was shaving my nose. The genetically superior. So I always turn to my wife when like Lana's turning something the wrong way, and I go, genetically superior. Can't take the cap off, but she's superior in so many ways. Like David Van Boglen, who says, Kevin.
She'll be the one that cures cancer.
Right, exactly. David Van Boglen, Kevin, when did you first meet Sean Waltman? And what was your initial impression of him as a person and a worker?
He was he came in as a 1, 2, 3 kid. I've told the story 1,000 times where they shaved his eyebrow and he glued the smoking guns hats on their heads.
And you were like, he's riding with us.
Yeah, I like that. I like that motherfucker.
Mm. Jeremy with Kevin citing gangsta rap as an influence on some of the NWO stuff. Did he have any favorite artists or songs?
I mean, Tupac. Tupac. I mean, there's Tupac, and then there's everybody else in my life.
Very good. Todd Stringer, do you know why Razor wore a black elbow pad and a colored elbow pad? Actually, I've seen this asked more than once about the two different elbow pads. Was it
he wore the other one had a razor blade on it that matched his knee pads.
Right.
The other one was because he had like that. He had some nerve damage in an arm, and the bicep was a little smaller.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
he wore that black one to throw off the illusion that he wasn't symmetrical.
That's an interesting thing to dig through because there have been workers that have worn things to cover either an imperfection or, like I know Barry Darso, after he did Crusher Khrushchev, he had a very distinct, I don't know if it was a hawk or an eagle, some kind of bird tattoo on his arm. So when he went to work as Demolition, he would pull an armband all the way up to here to cover that tattoo. So I'm going to have to dig through that a little bit and see what clothing we're really masking things in the ring. Clothing. What'd you call it? Clothing? Gear. Mark Caps.
Does that go back to Abdullah? His gear masking those.
He used to drop his tits over two tattoos of B-1 bombers that he had. And
actual size.
Yeah, exactly. His fucking chest was a landing strip.
Oh, fuck.
Mark Caps, hardest ring to bump in and the softest.
Hardest ever was the Sportatorium in Dallas. It was that fixed ring, man. I think that was a fucking pool table. The New Japan ones in the early 90s were another. I mean, those things were brought to you by Brunswick. Softest. There used to be a WCW ring that was some ring that somebody built in Texas, man. That thing was like I remember coming back when we came back in '96, and Scott and I worked at we because we're not going to take a bump, you know, like, like we didn't take a bump for like whatever it was, like I don't know, 10 weeks, 11, whatever, however long it was. Like we're not fucking bumping for free. And I remember when I don't think we bumped until July 7th. The Bash at the Beach, and I remember taking a bump going, holy shit. Like, this is like fucking like falling 3 inches onto a futon.
Really?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Those other rings, man, we had the Yoko Undertaker rings
Yeah.
that had, and Yoko and Bam Bam. Like, we had some big boys.
Wow. So WCW the softest.
Yeah.
Also, by Mark Capps, venues with the loudest pops versus the quietest.
Japanese pops are always really quiet. Like, you don't pop a Japanese crowd. You fight to get to the ropes, and they give you a applause like
Applause,
like it's good fighting spirit.
But if you're in there like 20, 25 minutes, they come to life. They appreciate the length of the match, right? From what I'd seen.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never went 25.
You weren't in the 25 minutes.
I've never went 25 minutes in Japan. We'll have to ask who's that Osprey guy?
Will Ospreay?
Yeah, we'll have to ask him.
Loudest pops, craziest arenas.
I mean, when we used to go over to, you go to any territory that doesn't get live events, and the crowd goes wild. I mean, we used to go to Europe and do Test of Strength and have the fucking people people, it's like anything else, right?
But the ones we might guess as the hottest venues, Garden, Boston Garden, maybe
Garden,
Philly.
No, those are all hard, man. I think Rosemont's always a good crowd. I've never been to the Rosemont where it wasn't a good crowd.
Okay. Harder to get over, you're saying, in cities like New York, Philly.
Yeah, because it's just
they've seen it all. They're jaded.
Like, to me, like Uniondale, man. Like, fuck. Why they picked the Uniondale for the bunkhouse, man? That was that building was. They hated baby faces. Philadelphia is that's a rough fucking town for a
That's
baby
a heel
face.
town, big time.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
ECW could have only come out of a city like Philly. Did you guys watch ECW when it was on?
I used to, like, when it was kind of in its I don't know what its heyday was, but I know that I would come to this condo, and I'm still living in Phoenix at the time, and I'd come down to this condo, and we would do those like monumental, like, 3 weeks of tapings for WCW, where we do like all the worldwides, and and then me and Scott would just do all our matches in one. Like, we'd like do 6 matches in a day. I'd walk down with him, he'd walk down with me, and I would come here and stay before the next, because it wasn't gonna fly all the way back, and then do the Nitro, and I don't know who the fuck I was going.
ECW. That you catch
ECW, and on the Sunshine Network, I would watch ECW.
Yep. Sunshine Network and MSG Network, New York and Florida, 2 of the contributing things that broke the company. You'll read about it in Todd is God, hitting bookshelves in summer 2023.
Really?
That
killed him?
It was really the relationship between Paul and Todd, which was the biggest thing. But they committed to those 2 TV networks to expand. And collectively, between the 2, the bill was $6,000 a week. The deal was you pay to get on and you keep the advertising. But as over as they thought they were, advertisers wouldn't
Well,
come
the
on.
fuck they also that on that Sunshine Network they were on like 2:30 in the morning or some shit.
The craziest slots and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there was they were getting the my pillow guys space.
The Ron Popeil hair spray gimmick.
Yeah,
But
pocket fisherman.
remember all that shit? The fucking
Fuck,
pasta
man.
maker. Brilliant. I was hypnotized by those
I
fucking
think
things.
I think that his. I wonder if Vegematic or the pocket fisherman. I bet you the Vegematic was his longest running gimmick.
The bestseller. Yeah, I wonder. Wonder if there's a book about him. That would be an interesting read. I would check that out.
Be a great movie.
Yeah. Well, let's get together on
You know, he's got some fucking skeletons.
that. Ron Popeil.
Fuck yeah.
Products that didn't go. The gooseneck dick implant.
Something.
You know what I'm noticing here at the 2-hour mark that we only briefly. I mean, like we it's like brushing up against a cock.
We said it was a road
touching
to.
the stampede.
We said it was a road to. We didn't say it's
Yeah, we'll get there, right?
I think that after watching a couple of news clips about they're going to be manufacturing cars that don't go faster than the speed limit.
And
Yes. Do you imagine living in Florida? So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it if it goes 35 and a 35. But if that motherfucker's going 32 and a 35, and I don't have the gas to get around him, I don't care if it's a double yellow.
Yeah.
I'm going to jail. I will fire some kind of a shoulder fired rocket.
The amount of, you know
into
what, you
that
may save
car.
lives from
It's like,
speeding
come on,
and
man.
crashes, but the amount of road rage from some motherfucker, a guy's doing 34 in front of you and you can't get around him. You'll kill him at a red light. But
Yeah. What is it? As I said, it's like NASCAR. Why don't we just make it slot cars? You know, just
I'm
put
gonna go find that
slots in the
Talladega
road
race
and
where they were
just-
running those Cutlass Supremes around at 200 miles an hour.
No fucking. I was like, those are the Petty, Yarborough, fucking the Earnhardt. I mean, that's. I bet you. If you look up back there, guys, look up like the average speed at Talladega.
Did you ever,
in
when I'm down there,
88.
I'm always tempted to do the thing at Daytona where they let you get in the car and they let you do laps. Not you, I guess you're with a real driver and you can drive the track.
I remember when they took a couple of our people and let them go
154
around.
average speed.
What's that, T? Where's that at? What year? At Talladega. 1988. 1988 Talladega. How fast are they going? How fast? 212.
Yeah, I'm like, God, I'm right by Daytona here. I get in a car, do. Then I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? Why am I tempting fate? We have some very basic fucking rules. These people that jump out of fucking planes, they write songs called ironic. They're not ironic. They drive 200 miles an hour in a car. You're pushing it. We have very basic rules here. We can't fucking fly. We can't move 200 miles an hour. Just follow the fucking rules and you won't die.
Well, that's they showed this. This was when they were trying to sell the idea of a car that didn't go faster than the speed limit, and I think they call that anybody in Florida going to the early bird.
Get out
dinner.
close to the villages.
But
You'll have fucking golf carts on the road.
Ugh. Well, you got them down here. They started renting golf carts for people to like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You can't see they can't see the beach. It's like,
All the way
these
down
people
by you,
driving up and
maybe.
down, looking
Not
at the high rises in some 30-mile-an-hour.
seriously?
Oh no, dude!
I go to
no.
Ormond Beach right now. I'm gonna
The
see.
whole, yeah, because they'll take it on because they wanted the places where they rent it are like 6 miles till they get to a beach fucking ramp. Then they go down.
Well, yeah.
Now the fucking whole place is destroyed.
And sunny.
Even though it was 83 degrees today. Yeah, no, it wasn't sunny. I mean, it's just like it's always sunny in Philadelphia. No, I'm gonna get ripped. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna get cut like Jesus on the cross.
Oh.
That's some sunny.
I was watching
That's
On Patrol Live.
That's some sunny in Philadelphia.
Well, let me remind everyone that Kliq This is a production of Bush and Sundance Media.
We're gonna fucking bail out on that. We don't have one more fucking question.
No, those were the questions.
All right,
Those were the questions.
seemed like a fucking wet fart to fucking end the night on.
I thought the golf carts in the golf carts in Ormond Beach was a fine place to go.
All right,
You know, our producer here, Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song Dale Oliver, technical research Tristan Nash. Go see Tristan, by the way, October 22nd, up in Palm Coast there.
I'll be there.
Doing his music thing. Nash will be there. Go wear your 11 soft. Can we do a thing that anyone that wears an 11 soft shirt gets an autograph on their shirt from you?
For me?
From you. You sign their shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Wear your 11 soft shirt. Go see Nash on October 22nd in Palm Coast at the, one more time, Tristan, at the Civic Center.
City Center.
Flowway. Bring that up again. I want to give the right name. Flowway Fest. Music Festival. Go check them out. Copyright 2022 Butch and Sundance Media. Kevin, are we doing another one?
I quit.
Tapping out? I'll try to steer the SS Nash back into the fucking water.
Yeah, you got a week to do it since I'm such a diva and take up so much of your fucking time.
Oh.
Sorry, dude. If you don't want to fucking hear me bitch, moan and shit, don't send me anything with fucking figures on it. All right?
Oh, the T-shirt.
No, I'm not talking about it. You know what I'm talking about between you and I.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck.
They meant toy figures.
No, I'm talking about breakdowns and shit. Fuck you. I might be. I might not know my times tables, but motherfucker,
and I'm square and everything. I saw the same picture you saw, and we're getting it painted the right way.
Yeah.
We handle things. People got to get used to dealing with Detroit and New Jersey here.
I guess. Fuck. Maybe we should stop talking more like this on our podcast.
We should sign off before we should just sign off before we lose our dedicated following.